Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Lehman. I go by Carly, but whatever you call me is fine. I was born in Noblesville, Indiana, and raised in Alexandria, Indiana for my whole life. I'm currently a senior at Burris, and I will start with talking about my mom and her side of the family. So on her side, her bloodline is mostly derived from French, German, and a little bit of Irish, and their work ethic was mostly factory work and farming when they came to the U.S. And on my dad's side, were heavily derived from Bavarian culture, and their work ethic was heavily centered around farming when they moved to the U.S. as well. And so I'm going to be talking about that a lot today, as I have chosen the artifact, this hacksaw. And so I'll tell you a little bit about the background of it. So it was my great-great-great-grandfather's, it was three greats. He used this hacksaw to clear a lot of the land during the Homestead Act, which, if you don't know what that is, it was enacted in 1862 by Abraham Lincoln. It was enacted to encourage people from the West to migrate, and so they would give 160 acres to these families so that they would be encouraged to move. And so my great-great-great-grandfather was using this hacksaw to clear the land in our county. It's Madison County. He was one of the first settlers in Madison County, and he wasn't the first settler, obviously, but he was one of the first people to establish Madison County as a county, and he was one of its founders, which I did not know until a couple days ago, so I thought that was pretty interesting to learn about. And he actually chose one of the 160-acre properties to live on that he cleared, and he chose the one that we still live on. And there have been 3 houses on this property. The original cabin, which was made out of wood that he cut down using this hacksaw, and that was demolished in the 1920s, I believe, and a second house was built. And that house was torn down in the early 2000s as it was not safe to enter because the second floor was collapsing. And now stands my house, which my dad built himself. And he said that one of his inspirations was my great-great-great-grandfather because he built his cabin out of the wood that he cut down with this hacksaw. So I thought that was pretty cool. And no one from our bloodline, let me rephrase that, there has never been someone that's not from our bloodline living on this property. It's always been a Lehman or Fuller, and the original last name was Fuller, so that changed when my grandmother married, and now our last name is Lehman, and so the Fullers founded this area and cleared this land for their farm. And let me show you guys a reference on the size of this. It was a lot larger than I anticipated and so much heavier than I thought it would be. I underestimated it the first time. So let me show you. I stand at 5'2", so that's taller than me, and so I can only imagine the trees that they were cutting down with this, as the saw is a lot larger than I am. And as for the future of the object, I believe it'll just stay on the property. It's never left this property. My grandmother lives just down the street, but the saw didn't go with her. It stayed in the house that no one lived in, that we had to demolish, and my dad went in and got the saw and demolished the house. It'll probably always stay on this property. And I can't imagine that this house would be demolished anytime soon, and I'm pretty sure my parents will still be living here, so it's going to stay here with my parents. And if this house were ever to be demolished, or if we ever decided to change properties for some reason and there wasn't a Lehman on this property, then the saw would probably go too. It'd probably move with my dad. And so thank you guys for watching.